Ooh, that AI music just hits. Wow. Let me get myself situated over here and we'll get this started. A rare live stream from my channel, a rare solo live stream, I should say, from my channel. So, welcome everybody. We'll get started in a couple of minutes. Thanks so much for joining, of course. My name is Joe, Cosmos Joe, uh, aka Cosmos DeFi on Twitter, if it's your first time watching. But yeah, we'll get this going. We've got quite a bit of interesting developments to talk about in the crypto markets. I would say the last couple of weeks has been great for pretty much everyone who stuck out the bear. But yeah, we'll get going. We'll talk about a couple of things, and think it's going to be an interesting one. Like I said, a very rare live stream on my channel, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Uh, So, for those of you who don't know me, like I said, my name is Joe. I mainly cover Cosmos on this channel, but I do touch into a little bit of Bitcoin, especially ordinals, a little bit of Ethereum, a little bit of Cardano, and some Polygon here and there. I do a weekly Twitter space called NFT Happy Hour. That's on my Twitter, which is down below, Cosmos DeFi. And got some people in the chat. Want to shout you guys out. Thanks for joining. Got some real legends in the chat. Actually, got Rarma and IBC Gang, who goes by Crypto Tank on Twitter, and he does his own live stream almost daily, pretty much daily, right? And yeah, he and I, along with a couple others, we just set up a IRL event called NFT Nashville. You could check out that website, nftnashville.io. We'll put some pictures up from the event. Some videos are already on YouTube. The full live stream is actually in two parts on the IBC Gang channel. So I wanted to shout out Tank. And yeah, markets, prices, everyone should be happy right now. And like I said, um, Bitcoin, ETH, we'll talk about those. Solana and Chainlink have been absolutely ripping. And we'll talk about Atom. Atom's been doing well, but it's still lagging most of the market. It's a little bit disappointing, but nice to see some green. I usually don't go too much into prices, but really, like, how do you not talk about prices given what's happened the last couple of weeks? So, before we get into the news, and we are going to cover some news today. I ordinarily don't do news. My channel's mostly tutorials, mostly interviews. Actually, I like doing interviews. Haven't done one in a while, but what we'll do tonight, we'll go over some developments that are important. And yeah, if this is supposed to be an education channel, I think that we need to do some news, and hopefully this goes well and I could get into a rhythm of doing this every week or maybe twice a week, or maybe every day if it's that much fun. Depends on the chat. Depends if the chat's interesting. Put it that way. Oh, got someone talking about Celestia. I know Celestia made a big jump today. That was a recent airdrop for the Cosmos community, the non-American Cosmos community, unfortunately. But let's get into a little bit traditional markets here. Traditional markets to me are overlooked, especially on crypto Twitter. But we've got BlackRock news. A BlackRock ETF has been filed in the state of Delaware. It's an Ethereum ETF. And of course, ETH responded by, just blasting up like 9-10%. The day before that, which was Wednesday night. Yeah, Wednesday night. I was I did a couple of short videos on YouTube just to test some software. And by the way, in the chat, just tell me if my sound is even on, because I have no way of knowing that once the stream starts. Tank likes the overlay. I like it too. It took about 6 hours of work to do this. But I'm sure the second time I do it, it will take like 15 minutes. But it was fun to do this. I been messing with some overlays, trying to enhance the production here, experimenting with some new things. But oh, thanks for letting me know that the sound is good. I've done live streams before where the sound doesn't turn on, and then I talk and no one tells me, or I talk and it goes through my low quality webcam mic, and it sounds like I'm like in a car or something. So I got an expensive mic. I want my sound to go through this expensive mic. So, where was I? Oh yeah, BlackRock. So BlackRock, by far the largest asset manager in the world. They even own pieces of the other asset managers. Uh, America, it's been tough to get clarity on regulations. Of course, we want regulations because we want institutions to move in. And it looks like that's what they've been doing, I guess, since June, right? June was a earlier, the early ETFs were filed for, right? I think BlackRock filed for a Bitcoin one in June. Then there was some grayscale drama, which turned out to be positive, net positive anyway, for traditional markets being able to adopt crypto. And like I said, there was a report that they filed for an ETF in the state of Delaware, an Ethereum ETF. At first, it was just rumor. Who cares? Green candle printed anyway, and then it was confirmed today. Today's Friday, so yeah. Um, of course, this is pending some approval. I have friends in traditional finance, and they've basically been in a holding pattern for years, just waiting for some clarity, waiting for clarity. And they need clarity. It takes time for these big companies to pivot. It takes time for these big companies to, cross all the T's and dot the I's. This is not Web3 where anybody with a laptop can just like build $1 billion protocol and release it onto the World Wide Web anonymously, being known by only your monkey picture and Discord handle. That doesn't not how it works in traditional finance. There are people who have a lot of money that are too old to use Web3, unfortunately, in its current state, and we want that money to pour into crypto, right? That's going to be the next leg up. I've always thought that. I've said that many times. So ETFs, the goal is to get these people who have no chance to adopt Web3 to make crypto part of their investment portfolio, pretty much, right? It's going to be as easy as buying a stock when it's part of an ETF. Ethereum, it's the number 2 market cap, and we're going to look at it actually right now. Binance. You're asking about Binance. I have some Binance news, but it's not related to what you just put into the chat. But I don't know. I live in New York. I can't use Binance. I think we're the only state that is not allowed to use Binance. So, yeah. Let's bring up the ETH chart here really quick, and there it is. But I want to do this, and here it is. So, Ethereum is number 2. We all know this. It finally surpassed that $2,000 mark for a while. It looked like it might go back down to 1,100, 1,200. It was hovering in that 14 to 1,600 range for a while. I am not a trader, so I buy ETH, or I was DCAing ETH most of 2022 and prior, and just holding it, So there's ETH. There's the the BlackRock news. And right over here is where I was making some short videos saying, hey, should I sell a bunch of my Bitcoin and swap it into Ethereum? Bitcoin's been ripping. Ethereum typically lags Bitcoin, and it makes sense, right? Bitcoin is usually what people buy first when they get into crypto. And also, Bitcoin has had, a shortage on centralized exchange. People are taking it off centralized exchanges, which is always good. But yeah, I was going to swap. I had a Bitcoin wallet that I was DCAing into. I was thinking about just taking that wallet, not my HODL wallet, my DCA wallet, which I started like 2 years ago, and um, my average entry is like 25, 26,000. So I'm up considerably on Bitcoin. And I was like, should I just swap it into Ethereum? This was Wednesday. I ended up not doing it. And look, Ethereum's up like 9, 10%. So it's just as well. This is why I don't trade. I think HODL in a bull market is better anyway. And it looks like we might be heading into a bull market already. People are going to front run this the Bitcoin halving, right? You got to front run the Bitcoin halving, otherwise you're buying higher. So that's the news on BlackRock. ETF, good, right? That's we all agree in the chat. ETF is a good thing, even if you are anti traditional finance, anti fiat. You have to understand how much money is in these pension funds, in these asset manager funds. We want like a fraction of a percent to make its way onto centralized exchanges to buy crypto to basically take supply out of circulation, right? That's what we want, hopefully. So, um, before we move on, let me just let people know in the chat who they're like, oh, Joe, where's your Cosmos content? A lot of this will tie into Cosmos, especially there's drama. There's drama brewing, I think, between Cardano and Cosmos. I feel Cosmos's, let's call it their architecture of their ecosystem is being directly plagiarized by Cardano. And I'm going to get into that in a little bit, So, there are some people that just joined. So if you just joined, we're just running through some news that happened this week. And I don't often live stream. So this is kind of like a trial run for something else that I want to do down the road. Um, Cosmos Joe is what I go by. And on Twitter, I'm Cosmos DeFi. You could follow me. It's down there. And of course, if you're watching this, subscribe to the channel. I always forget to plug the channel. Always forget to plug the channel. So let's go to number 2, Bitcoin. I want to talk about Bitcoin ordinals. Bitcoin ordinals are a little bit controversial. I don't know why they're controversial, but Bitcoin maxis do not love Bitcoin ordinals by any stretch. They don't love them by any stretch. And I guess I could understand why. They don't like transaction fees going up. They don't like playing with monkey pictures on Bitcoin the way it was done on Ethereum. Ethereum, I feel like the community there has more of like this YOLO mentality. Just, there are actually more whale wallets on Ethereum than there are on Bitcoin. So I get that. But yeah, the Bitcoin people need to open up to ordinals because they actually prove that there's demand for things other than just buying Bitcoin and holding it in cold storage, which is fine. That's what I do with most of my Bitcoin. So I've done some videos on ordinal inscriptions on the channel, and really they're not NFTs. They utilize NFTs, but they're not really NFTs. Um, Basically, NFTs, they get hosted on a server, IPFS, for example, and you don't have the guarantee of permanence that you have on Bitcoin. So once this ordinals protocol went live, people started basically recording data onto the Bitcoin blockchain via inscriptions. And after the first like 5,000 of these, people said, let's just put NFTs as the data. And that's what happened. So ordinal inscriptions are basically individual Satoshis that have data associated with them. And that data happens to be monkey pictures for the most part. Monkey pictures, birds, cats. I have a bunch of them. And what I like about it is that it's new. It's like the first time I actually got into something early. And I got into Bitcoin ordinals so early that no one cared about them like a month later. And the trading volume, despite better tooling that came immediately after this, ordinal inscriptions went live, uh, the trading volume dipped like 99%, right? They were basically like shit coins, right? Went down 98% between like March, April, and then like August, September. Well, fast forward to November, and we have a surge in inscription trading. The inscription trading is very, not only the process of minting the inscription or inscribing the Satoshi, that's significant, but the trading volume is also significant. It's also significant. So, hey, Retro, how's it going, man? Retro saying he likes to see me live stream. Uh, I mean, you're the only one, dude. I am not a famous live streamer like my counterpart, who I won't name because we're feuding. But good to have you. Good to have you. Uh, Curious if anyone in the chat has a preference between Bitcoin and Ethereum right now. Basically, if you had to buy like, $1,000 worth of one or the other and you had to hold it for 6 months, what would you buy right now? This is not a financial advice channel. Actually, I field financial advice from the chat. That's how I make pretty much all my decisions. I ask people on Twitter and on YouTube, like, what should I do with my money? And then I just kind of randomly pick, and that's what I do. So IBC Gang is saying Bitcoin all day long. That was my attitude until yesterday. I saw Ethereum just bump 10% in a day. Huge market cap, by the way, like $225 million market cap, just on a rumor, just blast 10%. So maybe my Bitcoin all day long was not the best move, but we'll see. I'm sure there's still time, right? We're early. We're early. We're not that early, but we're early for the halvening, which is important. Here's Retro again. I think I'd be stupid not to get more Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned before, Bitcoin's going to be most people's first crypto. And if you're talking about traditional investors, people like my dad's age, my dad doesn't know how to use a computer. He learned how to use a phone, but he can't use a computer. When we were teenagers, me and my brother, and we were on the computer, and he wanted us to get off to the computer. He didn't know that there was like a way to power down the computer. He would just say, "Hey, you've been on the computer for too long," and he would just unplug it from the wall. Like, these are the kinds of people that have all the money now in society. They're like, you know, 55, 60 and over. And that makes sense, right? They've been working, 30 years, so they should have all the money. But they don't understand crypto. That's okay. ETFs are gonna save that. But even if ETFs are not as, readily available as we hope based on the news, Bitcoin's probably going to be the token where someone like me, Thanksgiving dinner, Christmas dinner, whatever, or St. Patrick's Day, day drinking, funneling beers in the driveway. Hey, tell me about that crypto stuff. I would tell them, hey, buy Bitcoin. Here's how you buy. Here's how you make a Coinbase account, whatever account you use where you live. It's going to be Bitcoin. So yeah, I could kind of see that. I can kind of see that. So um we're talking about Bitcoin ordinals. All right. The news is not about Bitcoin ordinals, by the way, other than there was a huge inscription sale for 1.7 Bitcoin. So that means one Satoshi, which is one hundred millionth of a Bitcoin, sold for 1.7 Bitcoin, which was like 60 something thousand dollars. Think about that. It'd be like if you had a penny and someone gave you, $1,000 for that penny, when you were like, you could have just taken your $1,000 and gotten a whole bunch of pennies from the bank. But the way inscriptions work is that they differentiate what was fungible and makes them non-fungible because of the data that's associated. And the data here happened to be, well, the data is irrelevant. It was inscription number 76. Inscriptions get numbered. So the first one is 1, the second one is 2. We're up to like 50 million inscriptions. So lower number should be more desirable for speculators. I'm not saying they have value. It's not financial advice. I have an inscription that's like 26,000, which is pretty good. And I have another one that's like 56,000, which is pretty good. And then the rest of my inscriptions are around 500,000. But what if we get to a billion inscriptions? Maybe anything under a million will be valuable. I don't know. I was gambling. I was treating it like literal FOMO when I had some spare sats to throw out there. Non-fungible Bitcoin. Oh, Tank's throwing out ideas for our next event, which we're going to center around the Bitcoin conference in Nashville. We got to come up with something good, man. Bitcoin, and I can't think of it on the fly. I'll think of it when I'm like on the train one day, and we come up with a good name for our event that will happen concurrently with the Bitcoin Nashville conference of July next year, and that'll be fun. I can't wait for that, because by then, who knows? Maybe inscriptions will be nothing. Maybe inscriptions will be traded like NFTs on ETH, which is happening. So besides inscriptions, you have these BRC20 tokens, which are kind of like project tokens on Ethereum, except on Bitcoin there's no smart contract. So they're literally experimental. They're for speculation. Well, Binance listed one called Ordi, ORDI. Binance listed it. Whole bunch of disclaimers. It looked like they didn't even research if it was the real token. It doesn't matter. It did like 50 million in volume in one day. When was the last time one of your altcoins did 50 million in volume in one day on one exchange? I can't, I probably none of mine, right? I have Bitcoin, I have ETH, and I have a bunch of altcoins. I would love for some of my altcoins to do 50 million in a day on a single exchange. So where can you find this data? Well, Crypto Slam is good for NFTs, and if you go to Crypto Slam, you can see that there's a bunch of BRC20 tokens that are beating some of the more popular NFT collections on ETH, whether it be Bored Apes, CryptoPunks, depending on the time frame that you use. So BRC20 tokens, again, this is proof that people want to do other things with their Bitcoin than just put it in a hardware wallet. It's just how it is. It's just how it is. So um, I already asked you guys about Bitcoin versus ETH for quarter four. More people have left and come into the chat. So, quick recap. We talked about, we've been talking about Bitcoin ordinal inscriptions and some important news related to that. Didn't even get to the real news with that. Keep interrupting myself and talking to the chat. But we also talked about Blackrock ETF sending Ethereum up past 2 grand. That was nice to see. Let's finish up with ordinals and we'll get to the drama. There's drama coming. It's I found it. It didn't find me this time. I found it. I did my deep dive and I was like, this is drama. This is a threat to Cosmos actually. So I have to talk about it. Have to talk about it. Yeah, Tank's right. That would be a nice 50 million for Kuji on Fin. I think we had that, right? Kuji's a token that went from like 70 cents to $4 in a super short amount of time. And we'll see what happens with Kuji. We'll see what happens. Maybe Kuji has enough money now to sponsor my channel too. You hear that? You hear that, Kuji people, Manta shrimp people, Dove. So let me finish up with the ordinal inscriptions. And the whole reason why ordinal inscriptions are significant is because they generate a ton of fees on the network. And in the beginning, the fees were insignificant. Then all of a sudden, there was some tooling around around it, ordinals, making ordinals, selling ordinals, and all that. And what we saw was that the fees for inscriptions were more than 50% of the block rewards, right? And I think it only happened a couple of times. But long story short, Bitcoin emissions, issuance, inflation, whatever you want to call it, it's going down every 4 years, right? So these ordinal transaction fees as a percent of the block rewards is really important to incentivize miners to continue mining Bitcoin and processing transactions, right? The miners are like the validators, but for proof of work. So ordinals, they drove up fees like crazy in a bear market. It's a significant percent of block rewards, which is revenue. It's revenue for the network, and it's revenue aside from inflation. It's not inflationary rewards like what we're used to in proof of stake, where you're getting rewards, but you're not getting rewards. You're right. You're just keeping up with inflation most of the time. So here we have a development on Bitcoin that's not even a year old, and it's already making an impact on the way the network can sustain itself as inflation dwindles, right? Bitcoin's gone through several halvenings, and there's going to be one. The halvening is set to be on my birthday, April 12th, 2024. The issuance of Bitcoin per block gets cut in half. It's my birthday. So that's that. Ordinals, inscriptions. If anyone has any questions, I have a bunch of videos and Twitter spaces on them. Did like a 4-hour Twitter space with some ordinal inscription project creators and Bitcoin experts. And that was tiring, but man, that was like one of the best spaces that I've ever been able to host. So that's that. Let's get on to the drama. I know you guys want drama. I asked in the beginning, Who would win in a fight, Cosmos or Cardano? There's a few of you in the chat. Let me know. Cosmos or Cardano in a fight? That's what I really want to. That's what everyone really wants to know. That's why they tune into this channel, right? And across the bottom, I'll scroll what we've been talking about for people that just came into the chat. Let's see. No one wants to answer. They both lose, right? They both lose. All right. So here's what's going on with Cardano. I was in Cardano. It was the first proof of stake chain that I understood. They put out a white paper video. It's still on YouTube. It's got tons of hits. And it's basically Charles Hoskinson, the founder of Cardano, the guy who left Ethereum in a hissy fit, gave all of his ETH to his secretary on the way out. And in the bull market, that ETH was worth like $400 million that he could have had. But instead, he's working on Cardano. Cardano was proof of stake, one of the first proof of stake blockchains. It's definitely an OG token. I think I bought ADA for the first time in 2017 on the Bittrex exchange for 2 cents, right? For 2 cents. And this is years before the blockchain was live, years before. And finally, I guess it was like 2020, blockchain's live. You could actually do stuff. They had primitive wallets and you could basically hold your ADA. Finally, staking went live. You're earning a percentage of inflation. So proof of stake, success, all that. Problem is this: Cardano, it's a permissionless smart contract platform. So it's like, I guess, Binance or one of those. In Cosmos, it would be Juno or Luna or Terra, I should say Terra or Archway or Neutron, right? I believe Neutron is permissionless. There's almost no development on the chain other than NFTs because the chain is really slow. And I know there've been all these upgrades, so Cardano people will get mad. So using Cardano and having horrendous experiences with the wallets and the apps and the speed of the network and the cost of the network. Cardano's not cheap. People that use Cardano think it's cheap because they only know about ETH and gas fees are high on ETH during a bull market. So it pushed me to Cosmos because the user experience was god awful on Cardano, even though Cardano had a robust NFT ecosystem. Right. ADA was going to change the world. ADA's going to bank everyone in Africa and all that. I've seen YouTube videos where there are like officials from African nations saying that all Cardano, founders, it's IOHK or IOG, whatever the company is, they go there, they shake hands, they take pictures, they do a speech, and they deliver nothing. That's what I've seen it on YouTube. If I ever find that video, I'll definitely share it. But Cardano has problems. It's slow, it's expensive. And I remember talking to a Plutus dev on a space, and the Plutus dev said that the way Cardano is built, you can't have fast enough price feeds or Oracle transactions on the network. So you can't have DeFi on Cardano. And if you ever used one of their dexes or whatever, it's just not the same as using a dex like PancakeSwap or Osmosis, which is Osmosis launched, way after Cardano and was instantly better the day it launched, right? Brand new chain, brand new app, just great. So, all right. So Cardano is rolling out like a whole new vision now, right? It's like Cardano 2.0, but it's not. Cardano's vision is to have a different chain, basically. So they're having a different chain. It's called Midnight, and Midnight has a different founder. And Midnight is going to do all. I wrote this down. This is what Midnight's going to be. And if you're in the Cosmos ecosystem, a lot of this is going to sound tremendously familiar to you. Here it goes. Midnight. It will have data protection. If you're in the Cosmos ecosystem, this exists already, right? It's not new, but they're going to have data protection. It's going to be regulation friendly because of the data protection. It's amazing that all of a sudden, like transparent blockchains are going to fall out of fashion, right? Um, they're going to use proof of work to add security to the existing proof of stake mechanism. So if you're in the Cosmos ecosystem, that might sound a little bit familiar. It's going to be interoperable, by the way, with Cardano. It's a side chain. It's a side chain that's going to pull all the liquidity off Cardano because it's going to be better. And it's called Midnight. ZK proofs. There's a buzzword from the end of the last bull cycle. They're going to have ZK proofs. So people are not going to go use existing ZK proofs like Immutable X for NFTs, right? I think it's Immutable X or any others, right? Polygon. They're going to just come to Midnight. The same people that brought you Cardano, the slowest chain in existence, they're going to pull all these people from ETH. They have a DevNet soon, starting next week. So they're a side chain, they're a partner chain. They're going to collaborate with Cardano, but it looks like they're going to pull their developers to work on this new chain. So they're going to basically fragment developers and liquidity. And again, like I said, it's a partner chain, so it's interoperable. So if you're a Cosmos person, and here's the best. They're going to do an airdrop. So Cardano, ADA holders are going to get an airdrop of this new token that doesn't exist. There's no details about the airdrop. They're teasing it, which is highly unethical because when people hear they're going to get an airdrop, they start doing irrational things. I've done it as a Cosmos person. I've held tokens way longer than I should have because I think I'm going to get an airdrop one day. Right? We got trained like a Pavlov kind of test. Let's see how long these people will hold their Atom, despite all the controversy and problems that Atom is having in the moment, because they might get an airdrop in 6 months. So you're holding your tokens for an airdrop, and everyone that knows better is selling, and the price is going down. So, and by the way, the airdrop's called Dust. So I don't know if they're just like putting it in everyone's face that this is BS, because this is what it sounds like to me. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm dead wrong. They realize the Cardano chain is inferior to all of its competition. And I'm sorry, but like match Cardano up against Solana, Polygon, ETH, despite the gas fees, or anything in Cosmos, which is lightning fast and way cheaper than Cardano. Way, way, way cheaper. I know that Cardano people kind of only compare themselves to Ethereum. So they have no idea that there are options out there. Faster, better, more advanced options. Long story short, they're going to do this airdrop. They're going to pull a bunch of people from ADA, make people hold on to their ADA longer than they normally would because they want this airdrop. They're going to incentivize developers to come over, right? Sounds familiar if you're from Cosmos. So they're going to fight over developers with their partner, and they're going to build all these awesome things that already exist on other chains, or some of these things they could have built as applications, right? Midnight, Cardano, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah, why is Charles saying all these bad things about his chain? I think they realize that the chain is just not good, and people don't want to program in the language that they chose, which is Plutus, right? And I took a Plutus class. I'm not a programmer. I took a Plutus class. It looked easy enough, like you were just snapping together. It's not text based programming, but oh man, they're gonna abandon Cardano, and they're gonna say Cardano's the permissionless version of Midnight. They're partners, so that maybe there'll be a way to move money back and forth. Like in other words, you'll be able to buy the new token on ADA and bridge on Cardano and bridge it over to Midnight. I don't know. I'm making that part up, maybe, but there's not many ways this can go, and it can't go good for ADA because unless you could use ADA on Midnight, I don't know, but we've seen in Cosmos where you're promised an airdrop, or you just trying to anticipate airdrops, and you do really irrational things with your holdings, thinking it's going to help you get better airdrops. That's definitely going to happen on Cardano, and the airdrop is called Dust. I mean, I have a bunch of ADA. I'm not going to hold it for Dust, and the chain that they're building is boasting all these different features that either have existed for a while somewhere else, or I would like to know why they can't build these as applications on Cardano. You can't have a ZK rollup on Cardano. You can't have an application that's privacy focused on Cardano. It it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any well, it makes sense if you have a whole bunch of ADA as a founder and you can't really sell it, right? And you need, new liquidity, new new chain means new token, first of all. Hey, we're going to make a new chain. Automatically that means there's a new token coming, which means it's proof of stake. You get to give a bunch of it to yourself before you launch anything on the chain. But anyway, long story short, um, I did Google what Charles had to say about Midnight, and it says that he took heavy inspiration from Polkadot and Cosmos. But Polkadot and Cosmos have been doing this for a long time. Why now? There must be a reason why they're doing it now. So, man, Midnight, I'm not excited for Midnight. I've been a long time Cardano person. Cardano basically taught me what proof of stake was, staking, all that. Just not excited as an ADA holder. I will sell it all at some point if there's not reason to hold beyond the airdrop. I think this is going to be a very small market cap chain. They're going to get a flow of liquidity from Cardano, which is a big market cap. We got to be honest, like during the bull market, ADA ran up to $90 billion or higher with no smart contracts. So there's still a lot of liquidity on Cardano. It's like top 15 usually in the rankings. Imagine all like a fraction of that liquidity going from Cardano into this brand new chain. It's probably going to be valued way lower. Um, that token is going to just rocket, right? And if you're early, if you know how to farm, or you somehow get a big allocation in the beginning that you can sell, man, this is like a dream come true. They'll probably incentivize the validators. They're called stake pool operators, and it's just it's a playbook that we've seen in Cosmos, right? Cardano is not so good. We're going to make a partner chain, but the partner chain has all these features, and it's called Midnight. It's like very mysterious. Has all these features that we could have built as applications on the main chain, which we've been saying for years is the most advanced chain. It's third generation. Well, now we have fourth generation. Cardano third generation, Midnight fourth generation. Um, Good for you. Cosmos is on 17th generation. If Cardano's third generation, Secret Network is 13th generation, right? Um, if Midnight's fourth generation, what's Terra? What's Neutron? What's Juno? What's Archway? What's Celestia? Right? So, and I don't know. I don't know. It just they're all of a sudden worried about privacy. Well, privacy exists. Privacy exists. You don't have to build it from scratch unless you're going to give yourself a token. Yeah, this is like the quote of the century here. Ampedo. Cosmos bear market has really helped us prepare to hopefully not get rugged. Yeah, I mean that's why I haven't aped into anything during this. I actually that's a lie. I aped into something the other day, but all these green candles. I'm not aping into anything. If anything, I'm gonna do just add an Ethereum uh, dollar cost average. I mean, I definitely dropped the ball with Solana and Polygon because like a year ago I said if Solana ever goes below $20, I have to pick up a bag. If Polygon goes below 60 cents one more time, I'm going to pick up a huge bag of Polygon, Matic. And man, I did not do any of that. I didn't do any of that. I did not buy Solana. Instead, I bought Solana NFTs that rugged me. And then on Polygon, I bought NFTs that are good, that didn't rug me yet. So, yeah, but I did ape into something, and I'm going to make a video about that in a couple of days. I have a bunch of ERC20 tokens that I think are undervalued, and they're actual utility tokens that hopefully get their due in the next bull market. Because last bull market was all about narrative. It was metaverse or whatever. It was like the cool meme tokens. Meme tokens smoked it in the last bull run. So Uh, here's another question from. By the way, anyone in the chat, you have questions? Let's converse. Let's converse for a little bit. Axelar, um, I don't know. Why don't tokens pump when their product is good? I mean, Akash had a good product last bull market. It didn't really do much. But then there was this big narrative, happened to coincide with Tank's channel. He was tracking their inflation and their vesting and whatnot, and they had that narrative in the mainstream news about GPU shortages and whatnot. And Akash has done great, but they had the same product or similar product years ago, and it didn't pump. Right? It didn't pump. Um, I have some silver. You can't sell precious metals. So you pay a premium to buy them and then you give up a premium to sell them. So I have mostly silver mining stocks in my IRA. I probably have too much of them. Probably overexposed to precious metals, but um my investing situation, my personal investing situation is a lot different than other people's because I'm a public employee and I'm allowed to invest in like super safe stuff. Like 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 automatic returns despite what the market's doing. So yeah, I take a lot of chances outside of that. I take calculated risks, we call them. But this is not financial advice. I'm not a trader. I got demolished in the bear market just like everyone else watching this or most people watching this. Yeah, Tank, I do have silver. I just like to have them, but I don't stack it. Like I'm not buying tons of it. I don't know. I like having the silver eagles though. So don't know what you guys think about anything we discussed today. I was a little bit all over the map, right? We got some Ethereum, TradeFi news, Bitcoin, um, halvening news, and then this Cosmos. Cosmos, I'll end with this. I'll end with this. Cosmos, and I'm not a developer and I'm not an engineer. So I have to use secondhand analysis, right? Secondhand analysis. And my analysis tells me this. And Cardano people will get mad, but they'll get their dust, right? It says right there on the screen, midnight sidechain will drop dust. You get some dust. Hold that ADA through a 97% dip and you get that dust. But anyway, my my second hand analysis is that Cosmos has by far the best tech for building blockchains. Cosmos SDK is the most popular stack used to build blockchains. It was never monetized, and their main product is interoperability. They've basically normalized interoperability through IBC, and they didn't monetize it. It's not monetized, at least right now. It's not. So um, another ecosystem like Cardano, which has a huge market cap with a fraction of the products and use cases that exist in Cosmos, they're just stealing it. And you know what? Good for them. Just take the narrative from other chains and you have a massive community. Cardano community is huge. People sleep on it. You can't believe how much traffic was on the chain for NFTs when they didn't even have smart contracts. They were like middlemen, third party custodians controlling NFT transactions during the last bull market. I watched a collection. It was their second or third collection. It mints out, and then the next day it does $1 million in secondary sales. Could you imagine if that happened on Stargaze? $1 million in sales in one day for a project's second or third collection? Man, oh man, it's amazing. It's amazing. Oh, this is funny. I think Diego, another good content creator, by the way, does really awesome educational videos. When the Morning Cup of Joe show, he's very perceptive because he knows I'm better in the morning. This is like, it's 9:15 here. I go to bed like 9 o'clock. But yeah, maybe I'll do a morning stream. Maybe it'd be more fun. The problem is my house is noisy. I can't do morning stuff all the time. It's just I have to really thread a needle to get morning content done. That's why my content slows down when I go to bed earlier because then I'm awake during less productive hours of the day for my, optimal recording conditions is not two kids crying. Yeah, I think I agree with Ambito here. When the devs and Cosmos actually release stuff, it's good. Yeah. So, man, it's frustrating to watch Cardano just rip off. They're not even going to finish that. I don't think it's just going to be part of the narrative for the next bull cycle. it might pump ADA. I'm holding my ADA. People make fun of me all the time. Why do you have that? It doesn't do anything. I have it because I know it's gonna. I'm pretty sure it's gonna pump. I'm pretty sure. So they have massive community. They're pretty brainwashed. I mean, they only look at themselves and then they look at Ethereum gas fees and they say, well, we're better than Ethereum. People just don't understand us, or people are not smart enough to understand the tech. Guess what? There's 5,000 blockchains. A lot of them have NFTs. A lot of them have DEXs. A lot of them have lending protocols. A lot of them have staking rewards. So what do what have you got? And I could say that about any chain, really. You know, Ethereum can say, well, we have all the liquidity. Yeah, you're right. And that's why I think Ethereum is gonna I don't think it's going to get flipped in this bull cycle. I would be shocked if it gets flipped. There would have to be some crazy manipulation for something to flip Ethereum, given the or like a catastrophe, right? Huge exploit. But Ethereum has bounced back from major exploits before. And what? Who cares? Everyone wants to use Ethereum. Yeah, I'm I'm not a dev. Maybe I lack context. Um, this is what I think. This is like shooting from the hip. I think the dev teams are small. I don't think they have enough diversity on the dev teams. I don't think they have enough like real world people, like people that manage businesses or engineers that did actual business consulting. I think they're just devs. They just build stuff, they put it out there, and they worry about monetizing it later, especially in proof of stake when they could just say, if we have a token, we'll just give ourselves some of the token and that's what we'll get paid in. If it pumps, great. You make a ton of money. If it doesn't pump, I don't know. You go on to the next project, I guess. So anyway, that's it. That's my live stream. Friday night. Friday night. It's the only time I'm free. Most people are not free, so I appreciate you guys hanging out. Coffee- coffee. All right, that's it. That's an inside joke. I got to put it on the screen though. So yes, they have a very large, diverse team. They own a retreat center and like a bunch of yoga instructors where they could disappear for months at a time after they get paid, and then just like come back and mint more tokens. I guess I don't know. That's like a separate stream, right? I have to do like a separate stream on like just the audacity of devs. That'd be such a great name for a channel. The audacity of devs. Hey, welcome to the Audacity of Dev show. This is episode 621. We're going to talk about devs who take money and run, just like the last 600 episodes. All right. God, thanks for hanging out, guys. Hopefully you like this. I'd like to do this more often, but I think Diego might be right, man. Just do a morning. Do the morning is better for me. Get my coffee, maybe put some Baileys in it or some bourbon cream and just go to town on a live stream. But yeah, this was a test run. I think the test was pretty good. I have my clipboard here. I talked about almost everything on the clipboard and a whole bunch of stuff that just was not on the clipboard. So anyway, take it easy. Appreciate you guys. I'll talk to you guys on Twitter or Telegram. My Twitter is here. It's right there. Cosmos DeFi. Cosmos Joe is the name of the YouTube channel, but Cosmos DeFi on Twitter. Thanks, everybody. I'll end the stream right here.